there comes a point in our spiritual growth where it really is a do or die situation. There is a point we get to where there is this great thing that must be confronted. And this great thing can be represented by other things. It can be disguised as other things. But this great thing is death. The great thing we wrestle with is our fear of death or annihilation. This persona, this person, these hang-ups, this past, this dream of the future, all about me that doesn't even exist, but I cling to because of my, survival needs. This is the thing I have to give up to a higher power that I have no proof of, so that I can become the embodiment of that higher power. This is not a light thing to ask of somebody. It's a very real and very big thing. And the more real it gets, the more you see, this is really serious. This isn't just me seeking a blissful experience. This is me really getting down to the wire and facing what this is, what this so-called spiritual growth lifetime for me is. It is about how long have we been afraid of death? How many times have we died? How many things are we still holding on to about ourselves, about what happened to us, about other people? How much noise do we need around us to avoid that anxiety, that jumpiness inside, that we know death is breathing over our shoulder? And it's because we see it like that we live in this unconscious fear or paranoia or desperation as humans. The pain is in the holding on, but we can't let go until we're ready. And so we have these things that make us who we are. And when the Kundalini rises, it constantly challenges you. Are you sure this is who you are? Let me take this away from you. Now who are you? Let me rub this fear in your face when you thought you were so powerful. Now who are you? How humble can you get if you want to be a servant of the divine? Because getting humble is the hardest thing to do. Being a servant is harder than being a master. You can only be the teacher when you have become the greatest student. Everyone knows that, but no one can quite understand what that means, the big picture of those words. The big picture of those words is how small can you get? How much can you be reduced or erased to know your greatness? So, while, yoga classes and meditation retreats are a nice idea, when it really gets down to the truth of the matter and real authentic spiritual advancement, you're going to get in some nitty-gritty territory, and it's going to get in you, and it's going to get to you, and it's going to rub on you. And that is what the friction of the Kundalini awakening is. It is the friction of fire. It is the friction of the past and the future. It is forcing you to stay in the now because you don't have a choice, because the bridge is burning on both sides. And what do? Well, we still hold on, because what else do we know? And then we get tired, because how long can you do that? How long can you keep trying to be somebody? How long can you keep trying to make them validate you? Or prove that you're worthy? Or prove to yourself that you let go of this person or that person when still deep inside they're controlling you because of how you feel about yourself? And it feels like every way we turn, there's no way out of this prism or this house of mirrors or this labyrinth. The way out is through being still. The way to know is to listen, to get still, to stop that frenetic movement, that movement that we do to prove to ourselves that we're alive. It's not conscious. But we have some powerful survival mechanisms built within our being as a human, and that is where the struggle is. Because in our heart, we know we love God. In our heart, we know what we could do and what we want to do for others and how we want to serve. But then the actions that it takes to do that, we keep finding ourselves falling. And it's not that we're falling, it's that the past is powerful. The conditioning, the way our subconscious mind has been programmed to think we are who we are and who we have to be and what we have to do. And all of our behaviors around survival, the way we were formed by our culture, by our parents, by our ancestors, has made us this person that we believe who we are, that we see in the mirror, that actually isn't real at all. And so the Kundalini awakening is just the beginning of the kindling. But then as it rises, and it only rises when you put God first, it only rises truly when you have a genuine, grounded foundation of a spiritual life. If you're still looking for this or that, or name or fame, or all about your name and your persona and your YouTube channel, and how famous can you get, and how many followers can you get, everyone wants it. Everyone wants to prove they're somebody and they're valid. But when it's more about that, because we're still pulled into the Maya, it's less about how am I going to work through this darkness of the past within me that keeps me in this place of thinking I have something to prove to a world I'll be leaving soon anyway. And nobody cares anymore about anyone else but themselves. Everyone's following to be followed. So it's a game that's not going anywhere. And yet we play it because we're afraid, because we have nothing else to do, because it passes the time, because it kind of relieves the pressure of the inevitability of the fact that we are in a prison of time as long as we are identifying with this person. I am in this place, I am in this day, in this month, in this moment. And it is forming me, and it is depleting me, or it is building me, or it is confronting me, or it is pushing me, or it is holding me back. But either way, I am me, and I am here in time. And the only way we can live without being tortured by that is to identify with the timeless. But to truly identify with the timeless, not in our words, not in some prayer we memorized, but identify with the timeless. That I truly know I'm not this body, and that I truly am not afraid to age and die and watch others around me age and die. I have that much faith. What's it take to get that much faith? What's it take to have that much trust in the invisible? And Krishna said, it is only through love that you can see me, or know me, or come unto me. It is only through love. But how can we truly love? How can we open up our heart? Because love is not, I give you this, give me this. Love is not a condition. It is not a relationship we get in with someone because they're giving us things and they make us feel good about ourselves and we're getting something and we give something back so we can get something back. That isn't love. That's just how we think it is because we're stuck in this low vibration as humans where love is this give and take sort of thing, but love is love. Love is just there. Love is just free. Love is just eternal. And to open our hearts means that we have had to be there with ourselves while all that energy below the heart is worked through so that we become fearless enough and courageous enough and brave enough, not mentally, not consciously, but truly, deeply, on a deep, deep level, that we have become free enough of the past, that we are less afraid and our heart can be open. An open heart is a physical thing. It happens in your body. You don't think the love, you don't imagine the love, you become the love. You feel it, you radiate it. Everything about you is it. And if people don't understand your actions, it's not your problem because you feel that love flowing through you. And it's a mystery how that love acts and how that love heals. But it does, and it's there. And so when you've got to the place where you have faced enough of your fears, your heart is open more and more, which allows the trust in. And we can still say, Divine Mother, I am still so afraid to die. I feel like there's nothing I can do to not be afraid. But I'm giving all of my trust to you, even though I don't even know if I have the trust to give. I want the trust. I want the faith. I want to be a vessel of your love. And we pray and we tell the truth. We tell the truth. And we just sit there. And we start listening more than we talk. We start listening and receiving and being receptive to the world around us and to other people. And we start being silent with ourselves and letting all of that shaky, nervous energy that has been ingrained into us. We think it's who we are. It is not who we are. We let it settle, and it can take time. It takes a lot of time for the ocean inside to calm down and for us to get deep enough so that we can sink to the bottom and be strong enough and honest enough with ourselves to face what we find there, because there's a lot of fear around why it's still there. And our ancestors pass on that fear to us, and our ancestors pass on the power for us to face that fear, because that fear has become ours now. And even though we aren't who this is, we carry it. And we are all this collective humanity with the same fear of annihilation, with the same need to be on top and to be more important and to live on forever and to have this name and to be recognized and appreciated. And what if they don't see how great I am and I just die? We have to know how funny that is. We have to be in the Tao. The prana that the Kundalini circulates is life force itself. And that prana opens things up. And that prana starts to move things. And so we need to live our lives that counters the energetic uprising that spiritual growth entails, so that our life is giving us the stability and the safety and the stillness so that our heart can open. But as long as we are frenetic and as long as we are avoiding and ignoring and not acknowledging that the truth is, Tantra is about the inseparability of life and death and darkness and light, the inseparability of me and you. The fact is that every word is power. How much power is the question? So what kind of words are we saying? What kind of thoughts are we having? We do mantras, people recite prayers, people pray because that is more power. We are becoming the words we use, just like we become the food we eat. We are our breath. Our power is our breath. So your breathing is who you are. Your quality of breath is your presence in this world. We need to pay attention to our breath. We need to pay attention to our words. We need to realize the magical being that we are, that is just so ignored in this world. And it's just all about our clothes and our face and our car and our job and our name, and all the magic that goes on inside of our body and in our auras doesn't matter to anybody. Because they don't know, because they're too gross. And becoming spiritually refined means becoming more subtle and noticing the invisible realm that is more powerful than the material realm. The invisible effect on you that your environment has is way more profound than like the material side of it. Oh, the window's open, I'm cold, or this is like this, or this is like that. No, the invisible part is what's affecting you. The invisible world is the most powerful world. The astral world is a world we affect to change our bodies, to change our circumstances. But you see, the astral body and the aura, it doesn't lie. It is our power. You may feel that, oh, I have power because I look beautiful, but that will only take you so far, because the real power is going to come from a beautiful aura, because that aura attracts magnetically all the things that you need in your life that lift you up. And sometimes, it feels like it's a test, but that test is going to lift you up, because when you live in that trust of the Divine Mother, it's all for you. But words are easy to say, but doing what it takes to get to that place is really what I'm talking about. And to suddenly stop who you've been and what you've been doing and turn it around the other way so that you can start step by step going in a new direction isn't easy, because there's all this momentum behind what we've been doing. You know, addictions to social media, addictions to alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever, preoccupation with useless things to pass the time, to take away the depression, or to avoid the fact that we're numb inside. That we like the idea of love, but we don't know how to find it or get there. And that's not because we can't love or don't have the capacities, because our life has hurt us so much that we are in a permanently protected state now. And we cry and we know that God is there and we love God, but we have no idea what to do about it because of the conditions we grew up. And that is the test, and that is the darkness we work through and bring love to, and that is the karma. But if you're even watching this type of video, it shows that this is where you are for a reason, that you are ready. You are not overburdened. You are not being given something you can't handle. You can handle it. Come back to the center, however you find that center to be in you. However difficult that center is. Let's just stop talking. Try to slow down. And you may sit with your eyes closed and you may not move, but your mind may be going 1,000,000 miles an hour. And people just get up and they stop meditating when that happens because they can't take it anymore. But I promise you, if you keep it going, your mind will start slowing down. And when your mind is doing that to you, it's not that you're not being successful in what you're trying. It's just you're training your mind, and this is where it's at. It's like taking a dog for a walk that has never used a leash. The dog's going to run everywhere and it's not going to want the leash on. But if you keep going every day, it's going to get better and better. We must train our mind. And the way to deal with that is not that we just sit down and close our eyes and go, I'm going to meditate now. It's that we breathe first. We do pranayama first. We have to balance our prana. Our prana gets deranged. We've been holding our breath for lifetimes. The breath becomes erratic. All the traumas that have happened to us have programmed us to breathe a certain way, and that breath affects the way we speak, the way we act, the way others perceive us. This is all about our breath. So if you, for example, practice 2 breaths a minute, pranayama, you're inhaling 15 seconds and you're exhaling 15 seconds. And you can just start with 10 minutes a day of that and then increase it. You will change your life. And when you're doing the physical postures to strengthen your body and your nervous system, you're going to pay attention to your breath. Don't hold your breath. Even when the posture is a difficult one, don't hold your breath. Make your breath the most important thing. Take a walk and synchronize your walking movements with your breath. Bring your body into a synergistic alignment. Align yourself. Access the portal of the pineal gland. Which will give you equanimity, which will give you true wisdom and intuition. Meditate upon the pineal gland. When you're feeling that nervousness and you don't even know if it's fear. People don't like me to say that they're afraid of death because people think they aren't. But everything we're doing in life and everything we're not letting go of and every way we're acting out and power tripping or anything we do, it's all a defense mechanism. And if you trace that defense mechanism back, it's all about the fear of something taking over you or being more than you. It's about the fear of death. It's all about survival. That is the animal reptilian mind at work. And that is where we will stay unless we do special things to raise our consciousness. It doesn't just happen, especially in a world where we're trained to do the very thing that is hurting our spiritual progress, which is engage fully in that lifestyle, that reptilian, survival-oriented, superficial lifestyle of materialism and grasping. And even though everyone knows it goes nowhere but to death anyway, they still do it. But if you truly understand that time is an illusion. A year, a month, what is that exactly? It's a formulated thing to give us an idea of how much time has passed, when it's all just really now going on. How old are you really? Is your age really exactly the same as someone else who's supposedly been alive the same years as you? Because it's not really true. There's a different sort of way of measuring age that has nothing to do with the so-called amount of years that have gone by. Because we're magical beings, but there is something that's measuring everything to give us a foundation. And we bought into it so deeply that we think the foundation is real and that time is real and that we really are trapped in it and in this identity and in this little room and in these little circumstances, and that there's no way out for us. And so we're just going to do whatever it takes to feel better today. But let's remember that that's a waste of time. While we're in time, let's use our time wisely. And so when we slow our heartbeats down by slowing our breath down, we increase our lifespan. We give ourselves more time to clarify and refine our souls, so that when we do leave our body, it is literally like an angel lifting off the ground. It is literally a celebration. You know, if you look at your life like a book, which it is, how do you want your story to end? What kind of person were you in this story? What did you do when you were up against insurmountable odds? What kind of story would you want to read? This is your life. How will you leave this place? What will you have done to be victorious? Ujjayi breathing is the breath of victory, the ocean breath. You can do that 2 breaths a minute with the Ujjayi breathing, starting for 10 minutes a day. And go deeper into yourself and let your mind become more still. And that's so that we can start to see exactly what we're dealing with, because we're only going to be shown little by little. The layers get lifted. The Kundalini mother is a gracious mother. But there's parts of this process that are going to hurt, because those band-aids have to be taken off. And so when we live from a place of love and devotion, it is a lot easier to deal when the band-aids come off. Because we're getting to be a bigger and greater being of light. And in order to truly be of service, and to truly be a healer, and to truly be a presence that lifts others, there's a lot of work that goes into that. This is working on our bodies and working on our condition. It's not just a mental thing we throw out. Here's what I'm going to do now. It's what we have to become. We have to become it. We have to become the healed. Healing itself is what we have to become. Light itself is what we have to become. Devotion itself. And this is what the Tao is that we are flowing through life. We are not separate from these things we encounter. We become one with them and we flow. And our life flows because we let it. And we stop putting our ideas on things, but let things be and trust in the magnetism that we create by our positive actions now. And a positive action doesn't mean an action where you're always happy and smiling. I'm saying it's positive to face your pain. It's positive to let your tears flow. It's positive to face the anger that you still hold from the past so that you can let go of it. Because when we live in the past or when we live in the future, we are death itself. We are not alive. And we do that because of fear. And yet, ironically, we're also afraid to die, but we're living in death itself. Because our mind is doing that to us. Because that's a tendency of the mind, to go in circles and to spin out. And it is our job to train our mind. To train our mind to follow our heart, to make our bodies strong, and to be victorious in this life. Because one chapter has to end and a new chapter has to begin. What chapter are you ending? What do you want to happen next? And what are you not going to repeat so the same pattern doesn't show itself? How will you rise up and get rid of that demon whose head keeps sprouting up once and for all? And not just for you, but for all who came before you and for all who will come. How will your life be victorious? How do you see the end of this book for you? Write a book about yourself. Be the hero of your life. Don't go out with a whimper. Go out with a bang and a celebration and the trumpets of the angels. Believe in who you are. And don't let the fear of death keep you running in circles like a little rabbit. Let's turn around and face our fears and realize they aren't real. We have nothing to worry about. We are much bigger than any place we find ourselves or any condition we find ourselves in. But we only know that when we take the time to tune in to who we truly are by doing the spiritual practices. We offer the practices here. We're going to India to fill ourselves with the essence of the divine, the ancient divine, in January. I may do another retreat here, the Crystal Skull Retreat, in the winter during the solstice, so that we can go deep into our heart cave and our mind and get rid of the darkness once and for all by surrendering to the deep earth mother. And of course, I invite you. You can always go to my website on the contact page and inquire about any of these things, or look any of it up on my blog. And you can come and you can join us and get the support you may be looking for. Because that's the best I can do, is to keep working on myself so that you will be inspired to work on yourself. And little by little and step by step, we bring light and love into this world. And there's nothing greater we can do, however messy it gets. Om Mani Padme.